I didn't even want to catch the bouquet. I only went to the wedding because my sister threatened to uninvite me from Christmas if I bailed. And to be fair, the barn-style reception outside Alder Springs, West Virginia, was charming in that Pinterest meets Fireflies kind of way. But I was standing in those dusty heels for hours, pretending not to watch everyone slow dancing with their forever person, while I spooned lukewarm peach cobbler into my mouth like it owed me an apology. Then the bouquet flew toward me. And I, Langston Healy, certified relationship skeptic and overthinker extraordinaire, caught it. Before this story really heats up, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss a second of the steam. Drop a comment below. Tell us where you're watching from, and if you believe in love at first bouquet toss. Sharing this helps keep the stories going, and we promise, if you make it to the end, you're going to feel things you haven't felt in a while. Let's dive in. So there I was, standing under the string lights, bridal bouquet in hand, red in the face because the entire crowd had turned toward me, clapping like I'd just won the lottery. I shrugged, laughed it off, and turned to find a drink strong enough to erase my social anxiety. That's when I saw him. He wasn't the groom. No, the groom was a sweet, blonde veterinarian named Eli. This guy was tall, broad-shouldered, sun-brown in a way that spoke of actual labor, not just tanning oil in gym mirrors. He was laughing with one of the bridesmaids, dimples flashing, tie loose, shirt sleeves rolled to the elbow. He looked like the reason some men never get over high school crushes. Our eyes met. I tried to pretend I hadn't been staring, but it was too late. He gave me a slow smile, then raised his drink like a toast. I quickly turned away, pretending to admire a mason jar filled with daisies. 2 minutes later, he was behind me. "You planning on keeping that bouquet or turn it into potpourri?" he asked, voice low, teasing. I turned. Up close, he was even more devastating. Dark coppery hair, hazel eyes, a jawline sharp enough to shave with. "It depends," I replied. "Do I get a date with the groom's hottest friend if I hold on to it?" He smirked, slow and smooth. "Guess that depends on which friend you mean." "I was talking about you," I said before I could lose my nerve. He blinked, then laughed. And Lord, the sound that made something deep inside me thrum. "Name's Calden." "Calden Rowe," he said, offering a callous hand. Langston Healy." He didn't let go right away. Neither did I. We talked by the bar, under the stars, long after the band stopped playing. He told me he grew up in Tennessee, worked in timber management, tree logistics, as he called it, and had only come to the wedding because Eli had threatened to revoke their fantasy football league privileges otherwise. "I don't usually do big events like this," he admitted. "Same. Last wedding I went to was my own brother's. I got so drunk I cried into the cake. Was it at least good cake? Red velvet. Worth it." We laughed, and then we didn't stop. Our knees brushed. His hand grazed my arm when he reached for his glass. And the way he looked at me when I made a joke, it wasn't just polite amusement. It was want. It was heat wrapped in honey. Around midnight, he leaned closer and murmured, "Want to go somewhere a little less choreographed?" My pulse jumped. I thought you'd never ask. We ended up at a rundown and just off the main road, one of those places with floral bedspreads and questionable carpet. But the moment the door shut behind us, I didn't care about the decor. He was already on me, mouth hot and urgent, hands strong and demanding. He kissed me like he'd waited all night, maybe all his life. I gasped as his tongue slipped into my mouth, his fingers tangling in my hair. He pushed me back against the door, grinding his hips into mine. I could feel him, hard, thick, pressing through his jeans. My hands found his belt, working it open blindly. "You taste like cinnamon in bad decisions." I breathed. "You feel like the rightest thing I've touched in years," he growled, pulling my shirt over my head. We stumbled to the bed, shedding clothes like confessions. When he stood above me, completely bare, my mouth went dry. Every inch of him was carved. broad chest dusted with hair, abs you could count, thighs thick enough to crush. And between them, perfection. "Your turn," he said, voice low. I stood, naked, and let him look. His eyes roamed my body like he was memorizing me. "You're beautiful," he whispered. No one's ever said that to me before. They were blind. He pulled me down onto the bed, lips trailing over my neck, chest, stomach. I arched beneath him, every nerve alight. When his mouth reached between my thighs, I nearly came undone. He licked, sucked, worshipped. I was gasping, clutching the headboard, his name a chant in the back of my throat. And then he climbed up my body and kissed me. "Tell me what you want," he whispered against my lips. "You," I groaned. "All of you." He slicked himself with lube from his bag. I had questions, but I wasn't complaining, and entered me with a kind of slow, deliberate thrust that made stars explode behind my eyes. We moved together, hard and hot, sweat slicked and panting. His rhythm was deep and perfect. Every stroke hitting places I forgot existed. "Langston," he gasped, kissing me again, "you feel like home." I wrapped my legs around him, pulled him deeper. "Don't stop," Calden. "Don't ever stop." He groaned and thrust harder. Our bodies tangled, moved, claimed. And when I came, loud, shaking, crying out his name, it was like falling into fire and air at the same time. He followed seconds later, collapsing on top of me, trembling. For a while, all we could do was breathe. Then he kissed my temple and whispered, "I think I'm going to need your number." I laughed, still breathless. "You're not getting rid of me that easily." I woke up tangled in a stranger's arms, and for the first time in years, I didn't want to untangle myself. The motel curtains did a terrible job blocking out the morning sun, and the weak hum of the AC made the whole room smell like summer and skin. His skin, to be exact, warm, musky, with hints of cedarwood and sweat. The good kind. The kind that stays on your pillow long after he's gone. But Calden hadn't left. He was still there, one hand draped across my chest, fingers curled just beneath my collarbone. His breath tickled the back of my neck, slow and even. Asleep, he looked younger, softer. Not like the rugged man who'd had me gasping and begging hours ago. I shifted slightly, and his hand moved lower, sliding down my stomach. "Mornin'," he mumbled against my skin. "Hey." His finger stopped just above my hip, teasing. "We really do that last night?" I turned, just enough to look at him. Unless that was a dream, in which case, we're both freakishly detailed dreamers. He smirked, his hand dipping lower. "Feels real." I reached down, caught his hand before it got further. "If you start that again, we're not leaving this room till checkout." His grin widened. And the problem with that is, he rolled me onto my back and climbed over me, bracing himself on his forearms. I should have stopped him. I had a family brunch in 3 hours, and I didn't even remember where I parked my car. But none of that mattered. Not with him looking at me like I was a map and he'd just found the X. He leaned down, lips brushing mine. "You sure?" "Not even a little." He kissed me, slow this time, unhurried. His tongue moved with purpose, tasted me like he needed the memory to last. I sighed into him, my hand sliding across his back, feeling every taut line of muscle beneath the skin. And then we were moving again. His mouth made its way down my chest, teeth grazing gently. My back arched as he licked across my stomach, then lower, until he was swallowing me whole, taking his time like a man savoring every bite. Calden, I moaned, fingers in his hair. "Jesus." He didn't stop. He kept going until I was trembling, biting my lip so hard I almost drew blood. I came hard, body shaking, vision going white behind my eyelids. When I could breathe again, he crawled up beside me, resting his head on my shoulder. "I like mornings with you," he murmured. I laughed, still dazed. "We've had exactly one morning." "Then I like our record so far." We lay there for a while, the silence warm and full of possibility. Eventually, I turned to him. You live in Tennessee? Just outside Rowan County. You? Pittsburgh. I'm a freelance copy editor. I mostly work from home. He nodded, chewing the inside of his cheek, like he was thinking something through. You ever think about relocating? I blinked. Are you seriously asking me to move after one night? No, he said, grinning. I'm asking if you've ever thought about it. Calm down. I smiled, rolled onto my side to face him. Honestly, all the time. I just never had a good enough reason. And now, I don't know, you make a pretty convincing argument. His eyes softened. I don't want this to be a one-night thing, Langston. I reached out, brushed a thumb across his jaw. Neither do I. We exchanged numbers before we left, but it felt symbolic, because we both knew this wasn't just a hookup. This was something. Over the next 3 months, we texted and called almost daily. He sent photos of half-built cabins and sunrises over mountain ridges. I sent him screenshots of absurd client edits and late-night selfies with my cat, Moss. We visited each other twice. Once in Tennessee, where he took me hiking and kissed me under a waterfall like something out of a queer Nicholas Sparks fantasy. Once in Pittsburgh, where he met my friends, made us all dinner, and won everyone over by singing George Strait at karaoke like his life depended on it. Then one night while video chatting, he said, "So you like trees?" I snorted. What kind of question is that? Because there's this little house for rent a few miles from me, he said, holding up a flyer. Decent internet, small garden, big oak in the front yard. Could be a good place to write, or edit, or start something. I stared at him. Are you asking me to move? I'm asking if you want to see where this could go. Not a ring, not a mortgage, just a real shot. I didn't answer for a full minute. Then, text me the address. 6 weeks later, we unpacked the last box together. 2 coffee mugs and a jar of rosemary. He insisted we'd cook, which we never did. I stood in our new kitchen, watching him lean against the counter in that old white tank top that always rode up at his waist. The morning light painted his skin in soft gold, and I swear, for a second, I forgot how to breathe. You good? He asked, pouring coffee. I nodded. Better than good. He stepped close, handed me the mug, and kissed my cheek. I ever tell you you make moving look sexy? You did, right before you threw out my favorite pair of cargo shorts. They were a crime. We laughed. Then he took the mug from my hand, set it down, and pulled me close. No more wedding weekends, he whispered. No more rented rooms. No more what-ifs. I wrapped my arms around him. Just us. And when he kissed me again, right there in our messy new kitchen, surrounded by boxes and sunlight, I knew. Catching that bouquet? Best accident of my damn life.